When we left off this problem, we got into this point of setting it up in the lesson. But now we want to actually look to finish this problem off and actually figure out what the measure of angle x would be. Well, basically, all I care about out of this drawing is the triangle. So I'm just going to break it down to where all I'm doing is looking at that triangle. Fewer distractions, going to help us focus on the part that matters. And I can see that I'm looking for the measure of angle x here. All right, so if I'm looking to figure out an angle in a right triangle, that tells me I'm going to have to be using sine, cosine, or tangent. In order to know which of those, sine, cosine, or tangent, I need to take a look and see what I call the sides that are involved in terms of opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. So going from angle x down here, the 40-foot side would be the opposite side. The 16-foot side here would be the adjacent. So which of our trig ratios involves opposite and adjacent? Tangent. And yes, you do need to know that one by heart. So it's going to be tangent of the angle, but what's the angle here? We don't know. That's the whole point. It's going to be tangent of x. And so we go ahead and just put x in tangent here for the time being. And that equals, tangent equals opposite over adjacent, so it's going to equal the opposite 40 over the adjacent 16. Now, before I go any further here, I see 40 over 16. That looks like something that can reduce. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce that before I actually start dealing with the solving for x part. So 40 divided by 16 gives me 2.5. All right, that's at least a little bit easier to look at. If you want to leave this, by the way, as 40 over 16, that's perfectly fine. You'll still be able to do the same calculation with it at the end. All right, so now I have tangent of x, and I need to know what x is by itself. Well, in order to get the x by itself, that means I have to get rid of tangent. That means I have to undo tangent as a function. Well, the only way to undo tangent is with inverse tangent. That is that tangent to the power of -1 looking thing, which of course we actually say as inverse tangent. And so the inverse tangent of tangent is going to cancel it out. So that's just going to leave us with the x on the left-hand side. That's the whole purpose of doing inverse tangent. On the right side, I'm going to have inverse tangent of 2.5 left behind. All right, that is now something I can put in my calculator. So now break out your calculator. Remember, inverse tangent is second tangent. And so we're going to do inverse tangent of 2.5. And that gives me about 68. I'll go ahead and round it 1 decimal place here. I'll call that 68.2 degrees. And that's it. We're done. That was the angle that we were looking to find.